Hi guys, welcome back to Origins Computer Classes. So this is the linked list lecture part 2. Uh, part 2 in part 1 I have already discussed about the the four types of linked list. Singly linked list, okay, doubly linked list, singly circular linked list and doubly circular linked list. So in this video we are going to first discuss the implementation of the singly linked list है कि नहीं the easiest one. अब देखो once you understand one of the linked list singly linked list, believe me, by yourself you will be able to implement the other three. Fine, just there are a few changes you need to make, ठीक है, and everything will be done, ठीक है. So सिंगली लिंक लिस्ट देखते कैसे बनेगा. तो इफ यू हैव वॉच्ड माई प्रीवियस लेक्चर सो यू मस्ट नो, एंड इफ यू हैवंट वॉच श्योरली जस्ट गो एंड चेक द फर्स्ट लेक्चर लिंक लिस्ट पार्ट 1, ठीक है. तो इफ यू हैव वॉच्ड इट देन यू मस्ट नो व्हाट, बाय नाउ यू मस्ट नो व्हाट इज सिंगली लिंक लिस्ट. तो सिंगली लिंक लिस्ट व्हाट इज इट? सो दिस इज it is implemented like this. There are nodes which is going to point to one another, and this is my head node, okay. So if this is 100 pointing to 100, it is a random address I have taken. It is not necessary it has to be 100, okay. So 100 hundreds का next जो अगर मैं बात करूँ, it will be 200 200 300 and 300 का next will be 0 क्योंकि इसके बाद there are no nodes, right. So say suppose 5, 10, 15 ऐसे करके I have taken some data from the user. So it is just pointing to one another. 200 is pointing to this whole node. Getting my point? So 300 is pointing to this whole node. Now how to implement it? ठीक है. So this was the structure of the linked list. So अब इसको हम स्टेप बाय स्टेप इधर बिल्ड करेंगे. कैसे कैसे होता है, जस्ट लुक एट इट. सो अब पहले मुझे बोलो फर्स्ट स्टेप में लिंक लिस्ट में वी आर यूजिंग से दिस काइंड ऑफ नोड, राइट. इसके अंदर देयर इज अ स्प्लिट ना. अब मुझे एक चीज बोलो, टेल मी वन थिंग. टिल नाउ the data types which we have used, उसमें it gives us an address. It gives us an address. Say suppose I have written int a, so I am getting a with an address of say suppose 200, right. लेकिन what is the problem here? It is a one block of 4 bytes. There is no split like this, but linked list में तो I need it, because in one portion I am going to have my data, right, and in another portion I am going to have address of the next node, address of next node. Yes or no? So now, so what to do? कैसे करेंगे? This is with primitive data types I cannot do it. That means I have to create my own data type, right. क्योंकि it is basically a data type ना, because एक memory I can allocate only with the help of data type. Data type का मैं कुछ अगर variable declare करूँ, so the memory is allocated to that variable, right. So but no data type has this split kind of thing. तो वो हमको बनाना पड़ेगा. How to make it? कैसे बनाएंगे अपना डेटा टाइप? इफ़ यू डोंट नो इट येट, जस्ट गो टू माई लेक्चर्स स्ट्रक्चर, ओके. सर्च स्ट्रक्चर्स इन यूट्यूब बाय Origins Classes and just watch it and come watch this lecture again, okay. Fine. So structures, we are going to use structures for creating the template. I mean one single node, not creation, the template of the node. You can say मतलब कैसा दिखेगा मेरा डेटा टाइप. आई एम जस्ट लेटिंग द सिस्टम नो मुझे कैसा डेटा टाइप चाहिए. आई मीन जस्ट डिजाइनिंग. इट इज़ अ डिजाइनिंग काइंड ऑफ थिंग. सो आई एम सेइंग कि स्ट्रक्चर, तो स्ट्रक्चर के लिए आई यूज स्ट्रक्ट कीवर्ड, राइट. सो स्ट्रक्ट and say I am taking the name node, node, node. So in the node there will be one part containing data. तो data का कुछ data type होगा, data का कुछ data type होगा. So say I am taking int, integer type of data. Fine. And another portion will be a link to the next node. So I am, say suppose I am taking the name of the variable next. Ab why am I giving this symbol, star symbol? Because it is going to store address of the next node. Address who can store? In C, who can store, what can store the address? Pointers, obviously. So that is why this pointer symbol, the asterisk makes the variable a pointer, right. अब मुझे बोलो इसका डेटा टाइप, नेक्स्ट का डेटा टाइप क्या होना चाहिए. बिकॉज आई एम डिक्लेयरिंग अ वेरिएबल, दैट मीन्स इट मस्ट हैव सम डेटा टाइप, राइट. सो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी द डेटा टाइप ऑफ नेक्स्ट. पॉज द वीडियो एंड थिंक फॉर अ व्हाइल. रेडी. अच्छा मुझे आप लोग एक चीज़ बोलो कॉमन सेंस से. इफ यू वॉच्ड माई पॉइंटर्स लेक्चर, तो पॉइंटर्स का अगर मैं बात करूँ, से सपोज ए इज अ वेरिएबल एंड पी इज अ पॉइंटर. ठीक है, पी इज अ पॉइंटर. सो ए इज ऑफ इंटीजर डेटा टाइप. फाइन, ए इज ऑफ इंटीजर डेटा टाइप. P is storing the address of A and A is, where it is pointing to A is say containing 20. So P is pointing to A. P is storing the address of A. So what do you think? I mean, what was the address of the P? Which kind of pointer can store the address of an integer pointer? Integer variable. Which kind of pointer can store the address of an integer variable? An integer pointer only, right. So P also needs to have a data type. int star P is equal to say address of A. ऐसा हम लोग लिखते हैं ना. So that means P also has to be integer data type. So if I say here there is a, in case of linked list, this next is going to contain the address of the next node. अब next जो node होगा that will also be like this. सो नेक्स्ट नोड का मुझे बोलिए डेटा टाइप क्या. इट इज स्ट्रक्ट नोड ओनली. यस और नो, इट इज स्ट्रक्ट नोड ओनली. तो स्ट्रक्ट नोड का एड्रेस अगर नेक्स्ट स्टोर करेगा, इफ नेक्स्ट हैज टू स्टोर द एड्रेस ऑफ द नेक्स्ट स्ट्रक्ट नोड ओनली, सो व्हाट हैज टू बी द डेटा टाइप ऑफ नेक्स्ट. व्हाट हैज टू बी द डेटा टाइप ऑफ नेक्स्ट. Struct node only, right. It has to be struct node. It has to be struct node. So it is struct node, and then it is of pointer type because storing address and next. That's all about the template. That is all about the template. So I have created a data. I mean I have created a template like this. Yes or no? So this is a template I have created. So this node will be having two parts. One is the data part and another is the address part. So I am just erasing this inside questions for a while because I need to implement it, right. Now I need to implement it. Now say this is a node, this is the template of the node so created. So मैं इधर अलग से draw कर दे रहा हूँ. So this is the template of the node. This is containing the data part and the address part, address of the next node. So this is my address part. Next wala is my address part. I am denoting it with A. Fine. A D D. Fine. So next is my address part. Okay. In D भी हमने actually variable I have not taken D. I am taking it as data ना, so that must be data. Okay. So template is created. अब now I have to create the linked list. Okay, linked list I need to create. So what are the prerequisites of creating the linked list? अब याद करके देखो, हम लोगों ने एक one variable we know that is head, क्योंकि head we require to store the address of the first node, and another I need some space of memory so that the new nodes get continuously created whenever user demands. Whenever user brings up, जब भी user कोई नया एक entity लेके आएगा, be it a new customer, be it a new patient, be it a something else, मतलब किसी any be it at airport, new passengers arriving. So every time एक new entity, हम इन सब लोगों को एक entity के तरह मान ले अगर, every time a new entity arrives, the depending upon the user, it should create a new node for it. Yes or no? Of course yes. So that means I am taking a variable for that. So say suppose struct node, I am taking it globally, struct node head and new node. Fine, new node. Head has nothing initially, so I'm just keeping it to be null. Okay, I'm just keeping it to be null. Okay. And new node में तो of course new nodes are going to come, so of course it is new node. Fine. And as because head is not having anything now initially, so head is, I'm keeping it as 0. You can also keep it as null. Okay, up to you, that depends upon you. Okay. So say I am declaring a function called void create. Okay, void create. So this template part you have already seen. Okay, so you know after this I am going to start this part, so I am just erasing this portion. Just take a screenshot of this. I have declared this, then struct node, then void create a function you need to develop. Okay, so I am just erasing this portion because this due to shortage of space, so I am just erasing this portion because the function is going to be bit long. Okay, so I am just taking void create directly from here, and it is taking, say the data I am sending it, I will be sending it from the main function, right? Data part I will be sending it from the main function, and here I am having, say globally head equal to 0 and new node. Fine, new node. Globally I am having, so struct node of struct node data type head equal to 0 and new node. So initially what I am going to do, अब देखो data is already in this function given by the user, from user has given the data in the main function. I have somehow passed it, so I am just writing the main function here aside. So say int main. So I have taken the data, say printf. I am taking just leaving some space, बाद में समझ में आएगा why I am leaving that space. Enter data, okay, and scanf. So say suppose it is int d, okay, so scanf modulus d and d, this is how we take input, and I am passing it to the create function. Create को I am calling with this particular data. Fine, return 0. Return 0 हम अभी नहीं लिखेंगे because there is a part I need to solve here. Okay, वो बाद में देखेंगे why I am giving these two spaces. अभी हम creation पे focus करते हैं. Okay, अभी हम creation पे focus करते हैं. Now, so say suppose new node न्यू नोड में I want to randomly create a new node. अब randomly अगर हमको new node create करना है, how do I allocate it? During runtime I am allocating a memory. Yes or no? During runtime I am allocating a memory. Just new node, it will be new node. During runtime I am allocating a memory. So what am I going to use? Bolo. Of course, yes, you are absolutely right. So dynamic memory allocation, right? Dynamic memory allocation. Up there are 4 functions in dynamic memory allocation: malloc and calloc for creating, free for freeing the data, freeing the memory from the allocation, and realloc for reallocating. So say suppose I am using malloc for creating the new node. So malloc. If I am using malloc, I need to typecast it to the data type of the pointer I am because malloc is going to return a pointer, right? बातें अगर नया लग रहा है तो प्लीज़ वॉच माई लेक्चर ऑन डायनेमिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन, ठीक है? डायनेमिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन वो उसमें आई हैव इन डिटेल आई हैव एक्सप्लेन हाउ टू व्हाट आर द फीचर्स ऑफ डायनेमिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन एंड हाउ इट वर्क्स. तो malloc क्या करेगा? इट विल बी रिटर्निंग एन एड्रेस ऑफ द मेमोरी so created, so a pointer to the address of the memory, right? So that pointer I need to typecast it to the data type of my pointer. So what is the data type of my pointer? New node, struct node, right? So the typecasting, I am typecasting it to struct node asterisk malloc, and I am just creating one node. So 1 into size of struct node. अगर 1 into नहीं भी लिखे तो चलेगा. Of course 1 into means there can be nothing also. So just size of what? The data type only. So that is the struct node, right? So this is how we do the dynamic allocation part. Dynamically I am allocating. This is the main function I have created separately, and here I am creating the create function. So say suppose in the new node, this node is created. This node has been created, new node. Fine. And new node, say suppose the address of this node so created is, say suppose 100, and new node is pointing here. Right? So this is my first node. अब this can be my last node, right? ऐसे भी तो हो सकते हैं कि से सपोज किसी जगह पर मतलब से सपोज वन यूज़र वांट्स टू गिव वन वैल्यू ओनली, वन एक ही वैल्यू दे कि वो स्टॉप हो जाए. We do not know. This can be my last node. So for safety, what I am doing is new node of next is equal to 0. Fine. New node of next equal to 0. Right. So I am turning this to be 0. अब आप बोलोगे तो सर तो फिर हम अगला वैल्यूज जो स्टोर करेंगे कैसे करेंगे? कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. अगर एक अगला नोड क्रिएट हो जाता है, आई एम गोइंग टू ओवरराइट दिस 0 विथ दैट एड्रेस, राइट? तो वो तो होता ही है. दैट इज पॉसिबल इन सिस्टम्स, इन आवर सिस्टम यू कैन ओवरराइट वैल्यूज. फाइन. तो इनिशियली न्यू नोड ऑफ नेक्स्ट इक्वल टू 0. नाउ how, what is the proof this is my first node? So I need to now point head to this node. So head equal to new node. Right? Head equal to new node? No, this is not right. This line is absolutely wrong. Why wrong? The problem, say suppose somehow user, say suppose we have enclosed this in a loop, okay, we have enclosed this in a loop. बाद में वो loop देंगे कैसे. अभी say suppose there is a loop inside this, the thing this is running, okay, so this loop has run again, and somehow again, and this, if this loop runs again, this function is going to execute again, and again a new node, so the new node is pointing to the new node here 200. A new node has been created, say suppose 200. Fine. So now initially when this was my new node, right? So new node का next 0 done, head equal to new node, head is pointing to 100. Fine. इस तक तो सब, अब तक तो सब ठीक था भाई. लेकिन when another time this program has been run, another new node has been created. Fine, of course this is our motto. Linked list में तो यही होगा. If user demands another node, then I have to create another node. तो new node का next has turned to 0, and I am saying head equal to new node. So head is now pointing to 200. Head का वैल्यू हो गया 200. भाई इसके साथ इसका कोई लिंक भी नहीं हुआ, और एक तो एक ये नहीं हुआ, एक फिर head is has moved to the next node. लेकिन इसका तो इम्पोर्टेंस था ना. ऑफ कोर्स यूजर हैज फॉर सम पर्पस गिवन दिस डेटा. हाउ कैन वी रिमूव दिस डेटा एज अ गार्बेज, right? So what am I going to do? We can do it like this. अच्छा, पहले तो न्यू नोड ऑफ डेटा में से आई एम स्टोरिंग डी. ठीक है, न्यू नोड का डेटा में आई हैव टू स्टोर डी बिकॉज डेटा आई नीड टू स्टोर, राइट? सो से सपोज डी में वैल्यू था 5, सो 5 हैज बीन स्टोर्ड हियर. And now what am I going to do? If, see, एक ही केस में head, when head is null till the time, see, initially head is null na, that means 0. Head is initially 0, okay, head is initially 0 here. So when, if head equal to 0, I am doing head equal to new node, head equal to new node. Fine. Okay. अब इसमें भी एक प्रॉब्लम होगा. व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? देखो, एंड अच्छा, एक तो मुझे ये चीज़ करना है, एंड इसका नेक्स्ट में भी तो जो न्यू नोड होगा, दैट आई हैव टू पॉइंट इट टू दिस पोर्शन, राइट? तो क्या कर सकते हैं हम लोग? एक तो हेड इक्वल टू न्यू नोड, फाइन, एंड अब हेड का नेक्स्ट आई कैन से एज हेड इक्वल टू न्यू नोड. ठीक है. अच्छा, हम लोग देख लेते हैं नेक्स्ट टाइम अगर एग्जीक्यूट होगा तो इफ आई से हेड नेक्स्ट इक्वल टू न्यू नोड, फाइन. ठीक है, दिस इज, मतलब अगर हेड इज नॉट नल, सो आई एम जस्ट राइटिंग इट इन द एल्स पोर्शन. हाँ, इफ हेड इज नॉट नल, से आई एम राइटिंग हेड का नेक्स्ट, head next equal to new node. Okay, head next equal to new node. Now there is a problem. What problem I am going to face in this case? Say head is initially null, head has point to 100. Fine. Now at present, again the program has run and another new node has been created. Say this is 200 new node, and this is the new node that has been created. Fine. 200, and this is my new node. New node is pointing to 200 now. So I am saying head next equal to 200. I mean head next equal to new node, because head अभी null नहीं है, तो of course जो new node आया, अब when new node is pointing to 200, head is no more null. So now I can say head next equal to 200. Fine, absolutely fine. अब इसका पार्ट भी ये लिंक हो गया. न्यू नोड का नेक्स्ट तो पहले ही हमने 0 कर चुके हैं, ठीक है. एंड से सपोज इट इज कंटेनिंग द डेटा 10. अब से सपोज once again this loop has been run, user gives third data, and 300. This is where my new node is pointing now. With the next value as 0. Right? Ab now iska next, the next of these should point to this node, right? कैसे करेंगे यार इसमें तो, बिकॉज इसमें कोई पॉइंटर नहीं है, राइट? हेड इज pointing here. So how can I do? There is no linkage, right? No, I mean there is no variable pointing to this node. कि हमको क्या बोलना है कि इसका जो नेक्स्ट पार्ट है that should contain the address of new node. Yes or no? But this will not be possible. So I have to take another pointer. Say suppose I am taking current, okay? Say the name of the variable be current. I am taking the name of the variable. So current will be pointing to the current node. Okay? Fine. So what am I doing? Say again, this is the first time the loop has run. New node is pointing to 100. Okay? I am doing current is equal to new node. Fine. And instead of doing head next equal to new node, I will be doing current next. So I'm just writing this with red. So this is a very important point you need to. Few things I'm marking with red. So these are the things you need to be careful about. So current is equal to new node, and current next equal to, here I am writing current next equal to new node. Now all the problems will be resolved. ठीक है, कैसे देखते हैं? ओके चलो. And that is all about the function. My function is created. Fine. ठीक है. Say suppose this is my first node I have created. Fine. And initially it is pointing to 0. And also current is pointing to this node now. Because when head equal to 0, head equal to new node, current equal to new node. Current is also pointing to this node. Fine. Current is pointing to this node. Current. Now, what can I write? Say suppose this loop runs again. This function is called. Fine. This loop runs again. This function is called. So when this function is called, so again one new node has been created. So new node, first I am starting with this line. So new node is created 200. Fine. This line I has executed 200. New node is pointing to this one. Fine. New nodes next is equal to 0. New nodes next is equal to 0. Fine. And now current is equal to new node. First here also I have to do current next equal to new node, and then also I have to write here current equal to new node. Okay, current equal to new node. Fine. Current equal to new node, and then card equal to current next equal to new node. So you have to be very careful about these lines. Okay, if you mess with a single thing, the whole linking process will be gone. Okay, and your linked list will also be gone. Okay, so you have to be very careful. Okay, so current is now pointing to this one initially. So initially this has point to, okay, so initially when this node was created, so current is equal to new node. Okay, just a second. Initially when this was created, so current was pointing to this node. Current next equal to new node, and current is equal to new node. Fine. So current is now pointing to this node, and current next I can, this line has been executed, and this line after executing I am getting 10. Okay, is head equal to 0? No, head is pointing to 100 now. So as head is pointing to 100, so current next equal to new node. Current is also pointing to this node, so current next equal to 200. Okay, and current is equal to new node. Current is equal to new node. Fine. Now say suppose again this program has been run, and again another new node has been created. Say I have executed this line first, so 300 new node, and by default the next part of this is 0, right? Because I have executed this line also, na, new node next equal to 0. And what am I saying? So is head equal to new node of data is equal to D. Say suppose 15 is given as data. Now current next, if head equal to 0, false, of course, because head is pointing to 100. So now coming to the else part, current next equal to new node. So current next is this part. So current next turns out to be 300, and 300 is now pointing to here, and I am saying current, now current is equal to new node. Current is pointing, right? So this was the concept. So whenever you run, I am always bringing current to the last node so created. So whenever you are creating a new node, I am immediately saying last, because last node may now I am having a pointer. So whenever a new node is getting created, I am saying current next equal to new node, right? And in this way, current I am pointing to the new node. In this way, the entire list will be created any number of data so given. So this was all about my create function, closing of else, closing of the function. Fine. So this is the function I have created, and now how am I repeating this function? Okay, this if also needs to close here. If, then else, then this function is closed. Fine. And now how am I running this function as many times as user wants? So just take a variable, say suppose int choice, or say int c is equal to 1, where c stands for choice. I am taking a small variable name. So Now while C, so first time it will surely run, okay? As soon as you execute the program, first time it will show, because while 1, and while 1 means while 1 it is true. Here, before closing the while loop, I am just asking the user print if, so 1 to continue, 1 to continue, and 0 to exit. Fine. And scanf, I am just asking the value of C from user. So if C is 0, automatically it will be while 0, so this program will stop. And of course the function will stop its execution. Here return 0. Before closing the main, return 0. Fine. So automatically whenever user gives 0, if user gives 1, so if user gives 1, so this loop will again run, and then create function will be called with the value, right? So while 1 int d, then printf enter data. So I am just accepting the value of d, so create function I am calling with d, and then again printf 1 to continue, 0 to exit. So if 0 is given, so that function will not be called, because while loop stops and that calling of the function stops, right? So this is how it is going to work. Now अब आप पूछ सकते हो कि अगर इंस्टेड ऑफ 1 यूज़र अगर 2, 3 कुछ भी दे दे तो भी तो ये मतलब लूप एग्जीक्यूट करेगा या वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. सो इसके जगह यू कैन मेंशन कि ऑफ कोर्स ये तो आप यू कैन जस्ट टेस्ट अ फ्यू थिंग्स. ये तो आपको ही घर पे मतलब आपको टेस्ट कर करके देखना है डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस कि सी मतलब यू कैन पुट अ कंडीशन कि इफ सी इज ग्रेटर देन 1 और लेस देन 0, that means invalid input, that means automatically make C 0, so while loop will stop after showing a message invalid input. ये चीज़ आप घर पे एक एक चीज़ ट्राई करके देखना, बट द मेन कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ हाउ टू क्रिएट a singly linked list is this. Okay, so using this concept at your home, try to implement singly circular linked list. Okay, then in the upcoming lecture I will be discussing how to create doubly linked list. That is also quite easy, uses this concept only. Just in place of needs there will be one more pointer, that is previous, right? So that's all about today's class. So this is linked list part 2. I will be coming up with linked list part 3. So thank you guys, hope you like this video. Okay, so take care of your family.